block for them. There we are. So Kyle, going to start things off here. Blooming Marsh, Inquisition of Kozilek. We look at Collected Company, Kitchen Finks, Anafenza, Kintree Spirit, a second Kitchen Finks, and a Devoted Druid alongside a Windswept Heath and a Snow-Covered Swamp. No synergy with snow-covered lands for Jacob. He just... Oh, I put Josh. Whoops. He just likes snow-covered lands. So... There we go. Sorry about that, Jacob. You're not Josh. You're Jacob. So Kyle here, writing the hand down. I have to feel like we're probably just taking Devoted Druid here. This hand doesn't actually have access to infinite mana. Anafenza doesn't fill the role of a Vizier of Remedies, so he's going to take Anafenza. Interesting. That's what it looks like, at least. No, he decides on Devoted Druid, which I definitely agree with. That is the more important combo piece, so takes that away. He'd like to take away that Collected Company if he had the option to, but that is not a choice he can make. Here is Jacob's turn of just Windswept Heath and a pass. Wow, Kyle here. Twilight Mire makes double black and plays Thoughtseize and a second Inquisition. So Jacob had picked up another copy of Windswept Heath. Thoughtseize is going to take away the Coco. No question there. I feel like you probably just take away Anafenza here. Yeah, there's no... I mean, Finks is good against Abzan, but I don't think it's that important. So Kyle just stripping the hand of Jacob down to essentially nothing. Jacob here left with in hand Snow-Covered Swamp, Windswept Heath, and a pair of Kitchen Finks. So not a lot to work with here. He'll need to draw a turn 2 play if he has anything here. Kyle has in hand, I saw for sure, Grim Flare and Lingering Souls. He can't play Lingering Souls. I don't think he had a third mana or third land, so he is currently going to be off that Lingering Souls unless he is able to draw a white source. He can play Grim Flare. That's not a problem. He also drew a Tarmogoyf there, so he could play that instead. Right now, we have instant sorcery, land, creature. That's a 4/5 Tarmogoyf. Seems about right. It's about the average size for Tarmogoyf. The ones we're missing, of course, Artifact, Enchantment, Planeswalker, and Tribal. These 4 types are definitely the easier ones, the easiest ones to get in the graveyard. So, on the end step, Jacob will again fetch away Windswept Heath. He's gotten himself, it looks like a pair of Temple Gardens, so... Doesn't need a black duel because, again, we know that he has in hand that swamp, so he will have access to that mana if he needs it. Now, he has in hand, he drew a Bird of Paradise. He also has in hand, though, an Eternal Witness. So that is good because that lets him get back to Collected Company, which coincidentally also takes instant out of the graveyard. So Goyf would actually shrink down to a 3/4. That really isn't the most important part here. Yep. There he goes, picks up Collected Company and says go. Kyle draws Inquisition. That one cannot take Collected Company, however. This is an attack for 3 now. Again, instant is now gone. We have creature, sorcery, and land. So that is a 3/4 Tarmogoyf. Jacob will fall to 15. I don't see any reason to block this. I don't think you're under enough pressure that this matters. You're at 18. Usually left those resource here. Yep, he takes the damage, I think, is definitely the correct choice there. Kyle still hasn't found a third land, so this turn he has to decide between Grim Flare or Inquisition. He decides on Grim Flare, which I agree with. Now, he only has in Graveyard Sorcery, so it's not going to be able to trigger this turn unless Jacob doesn't... Or it's not... That's what I'm looking for. It's not Delirium, yeah. Chris Kaznecki, thank you for that follow, man. We appreciate that. I will send you your 10% off discount code at top8gaming.com, man. Welcome to the channel. A pair of Birds of Paradise here for Jacob. Kyle fires off the Inquisition. He doesn't float anything else off the Twilight Mire, so he's getting stuck here on land. He's found a lot of hand disruption, but unfortunately he's at a spot now where he won't be able to stop this Coco. And that's going to make things a little bit harder, so... Still a 3/4 Tarmogoyf. Alongside that, of course, is the 2/2 Grim Flare. He's going to have a look at Collected Company there. Card's been popular ever since it got printed. Standard picked it up pretty quickly, and then Modern adapted it very, very quickly as well, adopted it. So that is a 2/2 Grim Flayer, so he can trade. It will get a trigger, though, because it does have Trample. So Jacob's going to take a total of 4 here. It's going to fall to 11, and then Kyle, again, will now get to look at the top 3 cards of his library, put any number of them into his graveyard, and the rest back on top in any order he'd like. So this is definitely going to be important for him as he's going to be looking for lands. I believe he did find one. He found Maelstrom Pulse as well. I think he found Stirring Wildwood as his land, so it does fill in his white mana that he's missing, but it is slower. So he's still going to have no play next turn, unfortunately. He will just go ahead and leave 3 all on top. All 3 on top. I believe the order he put him in was Wildwood, Grim Flayer, or then Maelstrom Pulse. So again, though, he's not going to have a play next turn if that was in fact a Stirring Wildwood as his land. So Jacob here going to opt to go for a Kitchen Finks instead of Collected Company. Oh, that's why. He also drew Devoted Druid, so that makes sense. And Kyle's in trouble here. He needs to find... he's got Path, but Jacob's going to have 1 turn to go for it here. Another attack for 3 comes across. Jacob's going to fall to 10. Still only creature, sorcery, and land. So down to 10. Plenty of life to work with here against the Tarmogoyf. So Viscera Seer comes down. Sure. Doesn't currently have... He needs to Coco into a Vizier, and then he goes infinite. So he whiffed entirely. Wow. Wow, Kyle's got to feel great about that. A big miss there by Jacob. That's huge. Here's an attack for 3. Kyle's going to fall to 15. Kyle gets to untap now, and he now has access to Path to Exile. So he will be able, if nothing else, to break up infinite, either infinite mana or infinite life. Yeah, that's rough. This deck plays like 30 creatures that Coco can hit. It's like half of its deck is targets, and he just a straight up miss. You can have misses that involve 2 creatures, like you get double Birds of Paradise or like Birds and Hierarch or something like that, but just straight up whiffing on 2 creatures is huge. So there's the Grim Flayer off of the Mire plus Blooming Marsh. Yeah, that's really, really big there. Again, Kyle gets a little bit of breathing room there with that miss. Jacob also, now with no cards in hand, he does have Viscera Seer to do a little bit of scrying if he wants, but 4 now comes across because Instant is back in the graveyard thanks to Collected Company being played. Jacob going to untap here. Needs a big draw step. Another Coco would be the best case scenario. He's going to go ahead on upkeep, and he's going to scry with the Viscera Seer by sacrificing a Birds of Paradise. He can still, if he'd like, sacrifice the Finks. The only problem with that, he's going to sacrifice both birds. Okay, he already had 4 mana. That's fine, I guess, yeah. So he's going to sacrifice both his Birds of Paradise. Here's the draw. A land. That's real rough. He bought him 2 in a row. Yeah, I mean, you always get 1. You usually always get 1. But yeah, total miss, it happens so few times. And when it does happen, it's just backbreaking. 4 mana, scry 6 to the bottom. You go ahead. That is not a good feeling. Jacob's in a lot of trouble now. I'm a little surprised Kyle didn't just path on the end step to get a blocker out of the way, but kind of forced the issue here. Yeah, he's missed a lot here. I mean, to be fair, the Collected Company in the bottom, like, the Collected Company could have bottomed other Collected Companies, could have bottomed Court of Callings, could have bottomed a lot of stuff, so. If this is the only block, Jacob will lose to Path to Exile. Assuming Kyle sees it. Well, that's not true, because Jacob can sacrifice the Finks in response. don't understand what happened there. He wasn't dead. Like, Kyle paths it, Jacob sacrifices it in response. He gains 2 life, goes to 8. He takes 6. He falls to 2, and there's of course there's the Grim Flayer trigger. I'm not sure why Jacob conceded there. He wasn't dead. All right, whatever. On to game 2 we go. Kyle pointed at his goif, but it didn't grow or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. He might have just not seen it. I don't know. Well, on to game 2. Kyle now up a game here with Abzan, so Jacob going to be looking. His hand was great. It got shredded by Kyle's start of double Inquisition and Thoughtseize on turns 1 and 2. Just tore his hand apart. He was able to climb back into it, and he definitely had a shot at winning that. A big whiff on Collected Company is just so hard to come back from. You got to have a real good top deck after that, especially when you're now in top deck mode. Chris, that was the wrong link I sent you. There you are. There is your discount code. If you want, you can also check out that Pokemon card. I think it's Drampa GX. So there you go. So Jacob going to have the play. He's going to be looking. The one thing he was missing, I will say, from his hand last game was a turn 1 mana accelerant. Yeah, turn 1 Birds or Noble is really big. That's what just pushes this deck into a very, very fast game plan. But it's not necessary. Still doing some sideboarding here, deciding what we're going to do. Kyle bringing in, he brought in explosives that I saw, Damnations, Nihil Spellbomb, Surgical, some Siege Rhinos. Maybe he might have changed his mind. I don't think Siege Rhino is sideboard. I think it's main deck. He just decided to bring it back in instead of taking it out. So, again, Jacob going to want a turn 1 Accelerant, and then he's either going to want turn 2, like, Devoted Druid, just to have his combo set up, or, like, a turn 2 Finks. Both can set up the combo. That's where he wants to be. The deck can win as early as turn 3, and I mean, when I say I can win, or I can just go to Infinite Life. So... pretty much winning against Abzan. Abzan cannot beat Infinite Life, except for deck out. But, yeah. So I see a Siege Rhino there in the opener for Kyle. Looks like both players keeping. There is that important turn 1 play. Noble Hierarch for Jacob. Does Kyle have some sort of hand interaction? No, he does not. He just plays a Marsh Flats and says go. Jacob gets to untap here with a Noble Hierarch. He's got lots of room to work with now. Land number 2. It's a Gavany Township. It's a bit awkward. He doesn't have black mana, but he doesn't necessarily need it. There's that Devoted Druid as well. So this is a very, very strong start for the Counters Company player. Kyle going to go ahead on the end step, fetch away his Marsh Flats. Going to find a Temple Garden. For his sake, you hope he's got either like a Fatal Push or... I mean... He doesn't have a fatal push. He might have path to deal with the devoted druid, which is important. Nihil Spellbomb is good, but that doesn't beat infinite mana. Okay, Verdant Catacombs. He did have a path to exile, but he decided instead that he wanted to go for Dark Confidant. He's going to fetch out a basic swamp, so he's at 18. Jacob plays a forest, 2 mana. There's an Offenza Kintree Spirit. So this will let him bolster, but this is Kitchen Finks. So right now he's missing the sack outlet. This bolster will happen, plus he'll gain 2 life, so he's at 20. He's going to bolster onto the Noble Hierarch. No, Kyle didn't shock anywhere. Or did he attack on turn 2? Turn 2. He might have. That would make sense. Kyle, I don't know what he scribed or what he revealed the Dark Confidant. I missed that. I missed what Kyle got off the Confidant, but here is the Nihil Spellbomb. Verdant Catacombs was the play for the turn. Noble Hierarch comes down now as well. The nice thing about the Spellbomb, as opposed to something like a Relic or something like that, is it doesn't actually require mana to sacrifice it. The mana is only required if you want to draw a card off of it. Wow, Jacob drew Vizier as well. It's pretty good. So Kyle probably wants to respond to this. If he does not, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, here he goes. He's going to fetch right now. I imagine grab another Temple Garden or a Godless Shrine, something with white mana attached to it, because he's going to want to go ahead and path to exile that Devoted Druid. If he doesn't, he is just going to get probably killed. Kyle now at 14. Union, we are in Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. We're downtown Niagara Falls. We're 5 minutes from the border. So yes, there is the path to exile in response. Or at least Jacob's just assuming as much. Kyle probably verbally announced it. If Kyle lets it resolve, this goes infinite and he can't respond. He can respond, but Jacob just do it again. Yeah, so Kyle just clarifying how the combo works there. And sure enough, he does path in response. Jacob didn't fetch? What happened there? Oh, yeah. I don't know what just happened there. Did the druid get put into his hand? Where's the druid? I lost it. Oh, he killed it before he pathed it. That makes perfect sense. Good catch there, Big Daddy Snow. Yeah, okay, that's what he was doing there. I thought he was demonstrating the combo, but no, he was killing it in response. That makes sense. So he E-witted back the... Yeah, he E-witted back the druid. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I missed the part where he killed itself. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, though. That's definitely the right thing to do. I just didn't see that, so... I thought he was explaining to Kyle how the combo worked, and he was explaining that, yeah, I can do this infinitely or whatever, but no, Kyle understands how the combo works. That's not a problem. He just killed it in response. All right, Clutch of Brutality was revealed to Dark Confidant, as you saw there. Kyle falls to 12. An attack for 3 came across, I believe. 4, actually. So I think Kyle's actually at 8. But Kyle is in trouble now. A little bit awkward that he didn't sacrifice his Spellbomb in response to the E-Wit. I guess he really wants to draw the card, or maybe he just missed it. I'm not sure, but... Kyle thinking here. He has a land to play. That's not a problem. Just doesn't know how much trouble he's actually in. Jacob's still missing the sack outlet, and he is still one turn away at least because the Druid doesn't have haste. So the Druid will have to come down and survive a turn. But he does know about the brutality, so he knows that it's not going to live if Kyle doesn't want it to. There is that brutality. Looks like it's just being used for one mode right now. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it just stops one Druid. Looks like he is just going to go ahead and do -2/-2 to the Anafenza. And look at your hand, apparently. It misses. It sees Ballista and Devoted Druid. The Vizier is missing now, though, so... Yeah, that's fair. And there's Grimflare as well. Oh, sorry, yes, my apologies. Thank you, Ace. He killed the Vizier, not Anafenza. It's 2-mana white creatures. It's all the same stuff. Whatever. So instant sorcery land are the only types that Kyle has right now in his graveyard as he separates it out there for us. So Grimflare is still a 2/2. Gonna have a read again of Walking Ballista. Again, a card very popular right now, both in Standard and Modern. Appearing in Tron decks and appearing in Standard, pretty much a lot of decks. Verdant Catacombs was the draw and the land for the turn for Jacob. So Kyle knows his whole hand. It's Walking Ballista plus Devoted Druid. The playing of Collective Brutality is interesting there because it does... I mean, Jacob knew that Kyle had at least one answer, and that was the Brutality. Now it's gone, so Jacob may think the Druid is good. Honestly, I don't know what Kyle's hand actually is right now, so it may be good. We'll have to see. Jacob here thinking a lot about what he wants to do this turn. He can play the Druid, but he needs to like Coco at that point to make it matter. He's going to attack with everything. So coming in for 7. I feel like it's an easy block here for Dark Confidant. Kyle now just thinking what he wants to do with his blocks here. Yeah. That's probably best case scenario. Block the Finks, pop the Spell Bomb. He's going to block Eternal Witness instead here. Actually, no. Yeah, I guess if the problem is if he blocks the Finks, Jacob gets to blow him out with the Township. That's why the Hierarch isn't attacking. The Witness will still die. Kyle will still take 7. He'll fall to 1 here. He's giving his opponent a hand here. Thank you, Kyle. We appreciate that. Absolutely. Getting our dice there fixed up. All right, so Kyle's at 1, if I'm not mistaken. There's no Dark Confidant trigger now, so that's not a problem. Grimflayer is now a 4/4. Siege Rhino, that's a good one. That'll keep you alive. Yeah, Gavany Township's a good one. That is a good one. So he's definitely not dead. He has the Siege Runner to go back to 4. He's in trouble, but he's not dead. Nah. I don't think so. Like, if nobody does anything else, then sure. If nobody does anything else, Jacob wins because of Gavin just being bigger than Kyle has to block. But yeah. Oh well, he's at 4, so he's not dead. The Rhino puts him at enough life. I feel like Kyle probably needed to leave up the Hierarch as a blocker though. You can play Ballista for 2, so Kyle's at a virtual 2, and 2 will go through here. So I think Kyle has killed himself, unless he finds a path to exile on top of his library with that spell bomb. But I believe Jacob has to attack with everything here. No, path's a good one. Yeah, just get your big blocker out of the way. That'll be the game for sure. Path will take care of this. Yep, so Siege Rhino down. Path to Exile resolves. This is the attack with everybody. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure if we have life totals correct, Kyle would need to have at this point either Fatal Push or Path to Exile. The awkward thing is here, Kyle's going to have to sacrifice the spell bomb, and he'll have to draw with it using that black mana. So he has to find exactly Path to Exile off the top of his library here to be able to stop this kill. No, that's not it. All right, so we're gonna head to a game 3 here. Yeah, Kyle played what he could there at that point. I mean, just too many attackers, just couldn't get around that. So off to a game 3 we go. Kyle gonna have the play. So Kyle, this game, going to be definitely looking for some sort of hand interaction. He actually had 0 that game, except for Brutality, and it missed. So this game, he is going to want, again, either a turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 1 Inquisition, something along those lines. So we'll have to see here what exactly these guys can do. Jacob, again, going to be looking just for the exact same game plan, essentially. Just looking to curve out. All right. So again, Kyle on the play for this third and final game of round 1. Collected Brutality in hand. It's not bad. But I believe that's his only interaction spell in terms of hand interaction. So he does just have Marsh Flats Pass. This is Overgrown Tomb and Noble Hierarch. This is okay, though, because Kyle, again, with that Brutality... Oh, he has Fatal Push, so that's good. Sure. Fatal Push is fine. That will take out the Noble Hierarch on turn 1. No advantage gained for Jacob here. Kyle, look. Oh, he actually. My apologies. He doesn't actually have Brutality. I thought I had Brutality there. He does not. Might have been Fatal Push I saw instead. So, yeah, he did have the answer. That's pretty good. But, yeah, he's missing Hidden Interaction. But he has Dark Confidant for turn 2. He also has Grim Flayer. So he's got a few options here on what he wants to play on turn 2. Kyle going to fall to 17. Starts his second turn. He drew an Inquisition. Okay. He's got a good hand here, actually. He's got Abrupt Decay. His hand right now is Abrupt Decay, Dark Confidant, Grim Flayer, Marsh Flats, and Inquisition of Kozilek. So this is not bad. I feel like Dark Confidant. Maybe Grim Flayer is better here. I don't even know. Yeah, he goes with Grim Flayer. They're both good choices for turn 2. So Jacob here shocks in his Godless Shrine, falls to 16. Devoted Druid. Kyle has the answer to that, though. We know that. Draw is another Inquisition, so Kyle can just take the game plan again this game of strip your hand down to nothing. Jacob will take 2 from the Grim Flayer. Kyle will have a trigger unless he forgets about it. I'm imagining this is likely in response to the Grim Flayer's trigger. You want to get as many lands out of your deck as you can just because it avoids you looking at them with a trigger like Grim Flayer's. So I believe that Kyle has said this is in response. Which is definitely the correct time to do this. Yes, it was in fact in response. So good play there from Kyle for sure. All right. Puts a Siege Rhino into the bin. Doesn't need that one this game. It's fair. Still thinking about the other 2 here, though. He decides to put the other 2 back on top of his library. Here is going to be the Inquisition. He can go Inquisition Dark Confidant this turn, having stacked his library. So, Walking Ballista, Abrupt Decay, Kitchen Finks ×2, and a Duskwatch Recruiter. So, Jacob's relying quite a bit on this Devoted Druid. Kyle can pick anything he wants here. He's going to make sure he knows what Duskwatch Recruiter actually does and what it is. Just double checking, making sure. Kyle's played Abzan for quite a long time now. He's very, very versed with the deck. So he's definitely making sure that he, crosses all his T's, dots all his I's. Making sure he knows exactly what he's up against before he makes a decision. So, what is he going to decide on here? He's going to take away Abrupt Decay. So, if Jacob draws Vizier, he wins. He didn't draw Vizier. Yeah, if he drew Vizier there, it was game over because he gets to make infinite green mana and play an infinite Ballista and then shoot his opponent dead. So a little bit risky there on Kyle's part. I mean, Jacob has to draw exactly Vizier at that point. Could he draw... No, yeah, Cord doesn't matter, Coco doesn't matter, none of that stuff matters there. So, I guess Coco he could have played. Cord wouldn't have been enough, though. And now the Grim Flayer is delirious as well. Orochi Studios, thank you for the follow. We appreciate that. I will send you your 10% off discount code to top8gaming.com. Welcome to the channel. Thank you very much. So Jacob goes with Duskwatch Recruiter and Viscera Seer this turn. Kyle will reveal a Nihil Spellbomb to Dark Confidant. He's at 15. And his draw was a Liliana of the Veil. So that was definitely the correct order to draw those cards in. Liliana here is not that impressive. I feel like I just want to leave Abrupt Decay at this point, to be honest. Again, Kyle going shields down there for one turn could have cost him the game if Jacob drew exactly Vizier of Remedies. But did not get there, so no punishment, but that's all good. Here is another Inquisition. We knew he had this one as well. Oh, nope. Looking at Spellbomb potentially instead. Kyle just thinking what he wants to do this turn. The most mana efficient play would be play as 1-drops, I guess, but okay. Now the question is, does he hold Abrupt Decay or not? He's played the Spellbomb, that's fine. But again, if he... This is an attack for 4, so this is fine, yep. No blocks from Jacob, he'll fall to 10. We're going to have, again, a trigger here on the Grim Flayer, so 3 cards being looked at. Looks like a Fulminator Mage amongst them. I'm not positive on the other ones. Tyler's Tracker went to the graveyard. 2 of them back on top. Fulminator Mage was the second one down, so whatever's on top of the deck either deals less damage or Kyle doesn't want to conceal. And it looks like, yeah, he's going to go ahead and just Abrupt Decay now. This will prompt a... He's going to just decay the Dustwatch Crew. That's interesting. So, again, he's in a spot where he's dead to a Vizier. Jacob Scry top? Does he just win then? Like, Court of Calling? Is that enough? Make a mana, untap it. That should be enough, right? Second green? Yeah, that's game. Yeah, Jacob wins. That'll make 2 mana, so that's game over. Court of Calling for 2. I get my Vizier. I make an infinite. I make infinite green mana. And then I make an infinite Ballista. So that is game. Yep. Kyle's dead. Lord JHW, thank you for that follow. We appreciate that as these players shake hands. I will